Welcome to St. Louis on a beautiful night for baseball night in America with two of the hottest teams in baseball, two of the iconic franchises, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the St. Louis Cardinals. It's been a crazy series so far. Cardinals winning the first game 16-8. Dodgers bouncing back with a 5-0 win in last night's game. We're all set for game 3. Hope you're having a great weekend. Welcome inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. These two perennial favorites who've won more games than any others in the league over the last decade both got off to slow starts. For the Dodgers, they were 13-13, but they've just kind of slowly taken flight, and they're 16-4 over their last 20.
Yeah, the Dodgers are doing what they do. A lot of people thought before the season started maybe the Padres could overtake them for the division. That slow start maybe had some questions. Not so fast. The Dodgers are right back where they need to be. They know how to win, and they're doing it because really this right here speaks to it. Their offense, their pitching, everything's clicking now in this nice 20-game spurt, and I would think it's going to continue most of the year.
I guess it's probably not fair to group them together when we're talking about slow starts, because the Cardinals situation was much more dire. The worst start they've had in more than a century of Cardinals baseball, but their offense has caught fire, and they've won 9 of their last 12.
Well, the biggest thing leaving spring training was their offense was not a question mark. It was whether their pitching could keep up. It didn't early, but now the offense is picking up the slack, and I'm telling you right now, this is the reason why they're scoring in bunches, and they're doing it with 2 Nolans in their lineup. Of course, they have a lineup 1 through 9 that's deep, but Gorman, Arenado, their 2 are catching fire as the Cardinals believe they weren't too far back to race to the top.
And within 6 games at the top of the division, even with that disastrous start. Mookie Betts and the Dodgers taking on Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals in game 3 of this 4-game series from St. Louis. And we've got first pitch coming up on a beautiful night for baseball here on Fox. Yesterday, but overall it's been a beautiful weekend for these two teams to get together in St. Louis. Temperature in the high 60s today. Cardinals and Dodgers ready to play game 3 of this 4-game series at Busch Stadium. Lineup for the Dodgers looks like this, with Mookie Betts to lead off, and then Freddie Freeman at first base hitting second. J.D. Martinez bats third as Will Smith gets the day off. At third base, Max Muncy, second in the National League in home runs this season. The rookie Miguel Vargas bats fifth and riding a career-best 6-game hitting streak. Peralta's in left field, then Jason Hayward. Chris Taylor had the tie-breaking hit in last night's game, and Austin Barnes does the catching and bats ninth. They face off with Miles Mikolas, who's been an all-star twice in his 5 seasons in St. Louis, and got off to a rough start this year. Had an ERA around 8 over his first 5 starts, coming off a pitching in the WBC for Team USA, but held the Red Sox to a run over 6 innings on Sunday, and over his last 4 starts, he's got a 2 ERA.
Yeah, he's a rhythm pitcher, and it's taken him a little bit of a while to get into that rhythm. You mentioned about the WBC. Strike thrower. He splits up all his pitches. You really don't know what's coming, and when he throws strikes and misses the barrels of the bat, his defense does the work. He's a contact pitcher, and he has given up a lot of contact this year, and early on it wasn't as well as they would like it, but now he seems like he's in a better groove.
With all those balls in play you're talking about, this defense will be important. The outfield looks like this: Burleson, Newbar, and Donovan, who's a Gold Glover as a rookie as a utility man. On the infield, nobody better at the corners than Arenado and Goldschmidt as a tandem. The Young and Edman up the middle, and the first-year catcher, Wilson Contreras, the other end of the battery with Mikolas. Dodgers started this season 13-13. They've won 16 of their last 20 and tied for the best record in the National League with the Braves. Now, the Cardinals were 10-24. They've won 9 of their last 12. Right back in the thick of things in the Central. Off we go with a fastball strike on Betts.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Dodgers approach Miles. He throws a lot of first pitch strikes, and if they pick on one that they like, they could do some damage early, but don't look for him to get deep into too many counts. Even against this great lineup, he wants to attack them, and he's got to do a better job of keeping the batter first batter off base.
1 pitch in, and now we got a little pause. Bullpen door was open out in left center. Get that thing closed and ready to go again. That's a strike, and it's 0-2 on Betts, who hit a 3-run home run in last night's game. And that's been the equation lately for Betts. 10 of his last 11 hits have gone for extra bases. The 0-2 in the dirt. Dodgers the #1 offense in the National League overall. #1 in homers, #1 in walks. Leading them to this 29-17 record. That's a little high, and the count evens 2-2.
Now, as Miles gets more comfortable and in groove, you look for this number to go down. 2-strike batting average, 278. That is way too high, and it will come down as he gets more reps on the mound.
Betts digs this one out in the air to left field. Alec Burleson going back to the corner with room for the first out. One away in this first inning. Here comes Freddie Freeman. Got his 300th career home run on Thursday night. Part of a 9-game tear where he's hitting well above 400.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, that's all he's going to do is hit the rest of his career, because that's all he's done. Great eye, good power stroke, and just doesn't look fooled 3 times in a row or even twice in a row. Makes the adjustment.
There's that hitting streak. 13 RBIs over those 9 games. And 9 extra base hits. He leads the National League in extra base hits. In his second season with the Dodgers, on a 1-1 pitch from Michaelis, lifts it foul, and it's 1-2. We're talking about that 300th home run on Thursday night. It was a grand slam. He hit the wall 3 times while he's sitting on 299, and then for good measure, he made number 300 a grand slam.
He will never forget that. Hey, how'd you hit your 300th home run? What happened? Grand slam.
No big deal. Only the second time that's happened. He's the 155th member of the 300 home run club, and he's only the second guy to get in there with a grand slam. On this 2-2 from Michaelis, Freeman golfs one right center for Donovan, shading his eyes from that sun, which, judging by his reaction, is very bright. 2 away in the first. No score first inning. Up comes J.D. Martinez in his first season with the team. Missed a couple of weeks with a back injury. A hit in 6 of his 7 games since returning. Strike 1.
Well, that's what you're going to see again. Just a downhill, not overpowering fastball, but he'll throw it for strikes. He's got a very good control on all of his pitches when he's right, and he'll work quick, obviously.
Michael is 34 years of age. Debuted more than a decade ago. Parts of a few seasons with the Padres and the Rangers, mostly out of the bullpen. And then he went to Japan and kind of transformed himself. Came back to the United States, came back to the major leagues. And in his first year with the Cardinals, led the league in wins, was an all-star. Missed a couple of years because of an elbow injury, and then a big-time resurgence last year. Was an all-star again. Martinez lines it to short. DeYoung makes the grab, and that's a 1-2-3 first inning for Miles Michaelis. Game during this 9-3 stretch, and the lineup for Ali Marmol tonight is this. Nootbaar leads off, and then Goldschmidt and Nolan Gorman having a fantastic second season. Arenado's been on a tear. Then the first-year catcher Contreras with Donovan and Wright. DeYoung, Burleson, and Edmund round things out against Noah Syndergaard tonight. Syndergaard signed a 1-year contract with the Dodgers and has struggled. He's got a .594 ERA, but John, they need him. Last 6 games, the bullpen has thrown 34 innings for the Dodgers.
Yeah, they need him to get some length, and he's not going to strike a lot of guys out anymore, and he's learned how to pitch with a 2-seamer and a changeup. And the one thing that he's in for a tough go against this lineup is they're very stingy, they're contact oriented, and they're on fire, as we mentioned.
Yeah, it's quite a combination of things, where they've hit 27 home runs over the last 12 games, but a lot of grinders in there too.
Yeah, it's probably got the chance to be the deepest lineup from all those things that we talked about: power, speed, and average. This guy's turned into some kind of player.
It's Lars Nootbaar leading off for the Cardinals. He takes outside, and it's 2-1.
Right now, you get the ball middle up, and you're in trouble. Down is his only chance for getting him out right now. As hot as he's been, you got to get him out down.
25-year-old in his 3rd season. Takes low, ball 3. Of course, really the breakout form was in the WBC as the first player born outside Japan to play for the Japanese national team. Performed well, became a superstar over there. Slashes the line drive to center field where Jason Hayward tracks it down. Former Cardinal still showing off some wheels into the gap, 1 away.
Well, this is going to be an active defensive game for both teams because the pitchers aren't going to have a lot of swing and miss type strikeouts. So, I mean, if you're a defender, you want to play in this kind of game because you're going to have action. You're not going to be on your heels. But you're just hoping there's not a lot of base runners when that action's happening.
Yeah, in an era of a lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks, neither one of these guys issue many of either of those. As the reigning MVP Paul Goldschmidt swings to the first pitch. One of the toughest guys, I would think, John, to face in baseball right now.
Yeah, because he can hit out of the zone, in the zone, and he doesn't swing and miss a lot. We just saw one right there, first pitch. He swung through it.
And he pokes one through the right side. Perfect example.
But that's what makes him so tough, because this guy has become such an elite superstar because he can wait and hit it the other way. He can hit you for power on both sides of the ballpark. And this lineup, you got to go through Goldschmidt, Arenado, and now the collective group that they have makes it really tough to navigate. That's just classic Goldschmidt. He'll steal a base too, by the way, and that's the one thing that Noah Syndergaard cannot do is prevent base runners from stealing if they want to.
Nolan Gorman takes outside. Yes, Syndergaard has given up 10 stolen bases in 10 tries this year, and Goldschmidt is 29 for his last 29. Gorman just 23 years of age. Debuted on this day last year, did some good things, but struggled like all rookies do. And he got sent down to AAA at the end of the year. He went about trying to fix the holes in his swing, and this season, one of the breakout stars for the Cardinals, leading the National League in slugging. On a 2-0 pitch. No. Takes low, ball 3.
Well, that pitch right there, if Syndergaard's going to have success, he needs that pitch because he's now relying on a 2-seamer and that changeup. They work off of each other, and that's the part of the zone he's got to have that, because he can pitch up, but he doesn't want to pitch up that often.
No 4-pitch walk, and the Cardinals are at first and second for Arenado.
You better be ready on the first pitch if you're Noah Syndergaard, because this guy's ready when he steps in the box. He's wanting to hit badly.
And it's easy to look, John, at the Cardinals as a whole and say, okay, they've started to hit in this 9-3 stretch. But if you want to zero in even more, it's the turnaround in Nolan Arenado's season, where he was really struggling over the first month, and he has been on an absolute tear lately. And he rips this ball down the line, but foul. You weren't kidding.
Oh, he comes in there with his hitting shoes. Now, he is vulnerable to the breaking ball, especially with 2 strikes. But you leave one over middle of the plate, and he wants to hammer it. And you could see he went up there looking for one pitch and got it.
6 home runs and 16 driven in over a 10-game hitting streak. Top of the zone, strike 0-2. Finished 3rd in MVP voting last year. 2 seasons in St. Louis, All-Star both times, Gold Glover both times. And playing like that All-Star and MVP candidate again lately.
They got away with one there. They tried to climb the ladder with 2 strikes. And again, a lot of 2-strike pitches to Nolan have been breaking ball. If you got a good curveball and down and away, you want to throw that right here. But you see what Syndergaard and Barnes decide to go after, raising his eye level with a high fastball.
Another 0-2. It is a good breaking pitch to get him, and he leaned on that pitch more than at any other point this season when he beat the Cardinals in late April.
Yeah, and this was on the higher end of the breaking ball, but nonetheless, he got the swing and miss, because the first move sometimes for Nolan Arenado is to try to get that ball out in front, and he swung and missed with a big strikeout. Here's another guy. Better not throw a first pitch fastball.
That is Wilson Contreras. 2 home runs and 6 knocked in on Thursday night, and he takes ball 1. Contreras, after 19 years of Yadier Molina, the big shoes to fill, coming in here on a 5-year contract, and it has been rocky to say the least over the first couple months. Fouls this one off, and it's 1-1.
Well, he's a very good middle to down hitter. When you vulnerable up, you get him to expand the zone. If you throw 95 and above, that's going to be tough for him to catch up on the upper part of the strike zone. Of course, Syndergaard doesn't do that anymore, but that would have been classic Syndergaard, pounding fastballs and beating him to the barrel of the bat.
Back when he's the hardest thrower in the National League prior to the arm issues. In on him here, 1-2. So Contreras, with the pitching staff struggling the way that it was, on May 6th, the Cardinals said, look, he's not going to catch for a while. He's just going to DH. And then in a bit of a heel turn, a little more than a week later, he was back doing the catching. They said a productive week plus of him learning and growing in ways of preparation, gelling with the staff the way they want it. And things have been much better in this short sample since returning behind the plate. On a 1-2 from Syndergaard, Contreras fouls it off. No matter how good they feel about it right now, you feel for Contreras, and the look from the outside was not good with this saga so quickly in his time here. Two on, 2 out. Another 1-2 is fouled again. And kind of the perfect storm Ali Marmol was talking about. Several other pitchers went to the World Baseball Classic. What would have been valuable time learning each other in March, they didn't get. And then you obviously have the pitch clock, so you better be on the same page or there's no time. And it all snowballs into a 10-24 start, and it kind of made him look like the scapegoat of the whole thing. Pokes this one into right center. Base hit Contreras to drive home Paul Goldschmidt for the first run of the game. 1-0 St. Louis on a 2-out base hit from Contreras.
And again, they never went upstairs to try and change the eye level where he's really struggling. They stayed down, and he expands the zone. It's not a terrible pitch. It's one of those you go, oh man, you get it off the end of the bat. But with 2 strikes and a contact kind of driven lineup, that's what you're going to be faced as a pitcher today, facing the Cardinals. Now, don't tell Tony Gonsolin that. He did a great job mixing and matching and shutting him down.
First and third with 2 gone and a strike on Brendan Donovan. It's been a weird series where the Cardinals in the first game scored 16 runs, hit 7 homers in that game, and then got shut out on 2 hits last night in that performance you're talking about with Gonsolin. There goes Contreras with not even a look from Syndergaard, and he steals it without a throw.
Such a big jump that the hitter was frozen too and took a strike.
Opponents now 41 for 44, stealing off Syndergaard the last 2 years.
Strikeouts that are looking against Donovan are inside.
That's where they're going. He got him swinging. Leaked out over the plate, but gets a swing and a miss to end this first inning. The Wilson Contreras base hit makes it 1-0 St. Louis. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Round out your protection with life, phone, and pet health insurance. Well, these franchises have met in the postseason a bunch through the years. 6 times over the last 40 years, 4 times over the last 20 years. The most recent matchup, the wild card game in 2021, won by Chris Taylor's walk-off home run. Max Muncy starts the second, takes a strike from Miles Michaelis. Now Muncy's second in the National League in home runs, behind just Pete Alonso. Rolls one to first harmlessly here, and Goldschmidt feeds Michaelis for the first out. Time to bring in Ken Rosenthal. Hello, Ken.
Joe, how you doing? You mentioned Miles Michaelis being away at the WBC. The first time Wilson Contreras caught Michaelis was opening day. And yes, the clock only adds to the challenge. More difficult to shake a new catcher off. Remember, for 20 years, they had Yadier Molina behind the plate. No one ever shook him off.
So what's that like, John, as a pitcher to have a brand new catcher like that after having one of the best ever for the last few years?
I think it's a perfect storm because not only do you get a new catcher, but you get new rules. And you get different circumstances that lead into not only the absence of the WBC, it just was a perfect storm.
Off the hands of Miguel Vargas into right for Donovan. He's there.
And the biggest thing about pitching staffs and catchers have more responsibility put on them now with the new rule changes than ever before. Information quick decisions, learn your pitching staff. And so if you can't get on that same page right away, you don't have that luxury of time, step off and do it all that. So it's been in a vacuum, a nightmare perfect storm. But I think as we talked and as this season will unveil, it'll actually work to its advantage because this is a long-term contract and a long-term relationship. And so once you learn the kind of the idiosyncrasies of what you have to do, everyone will be okay.
David Peralta took outside and now takes a low strike, and it's 1-1. Of course, such a high bar set around here by what Yadier Molina did over the last 20 years, and even a great defensive catcher is going to come in here and be compared to him. That's unfair to Contreras. Look, it's part of the territory, being the guy to follow Molina, but that's not who he is. This is more of an offensive catcher as it is.
No doubt. And information overkill, sometimes parallelization by that. It's taken out of your hands, and the game doesn't get called that often by this pitching staff because of Yadier Molina. It was so reliant. And so imagine that kind of shift of thinking, and that inability to shake your head, or the shaking your head too much causes problems. And they'll get on the same page. They'll work it out, which it seems like they're doing. And this is still a very, very talented ball club.
Peralta chases the high fastball, and Miles Michaelis has retired the first 6. Noah Syndergaard had to throw 25 pitches in that first inning. Yeah, Cardinals got a run. Bottom part of the order in the second. Strike one on Paul DeJong, who was runner-up to Cody Bellinger for Rookie of the Year in 2017, was an All-Star in 2019, but struggled mightily the last 3 years. Overhauled his swing this offseason. Came in here basically last year of his contract saying, look, I'm going to do whatever I can, one last shot. And has been a different guy. Missed the first month or so with a back issue, but an OPS above 900 in his 20 games. 1-2.
That's the one pitch that he's been struggling with, is that curveball. And you see back-to-back breaking balls. I wouldn't be surprised if you see 3 in a row. But yeah, I'm with you. All that power and all that success early. Maybe trying to do way too much, mentally get out of your way. This is a tough game. This is a game of failures. And boy, when you start out on fire, the expectations go through the roof.
Yeah. Well, the only guy that hit more home runs through his first 3 years as a Cardinal is Albert Pujols. DeJong had 74 through 3 years. And you can understand falling in love with that a little bit. And there have been other examples, John, of guys doing that, and it kind of ruins it.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a introduction to stardom, they predict.
Goes full on him. Recaptured some of that power so far this year, hitting 6 home runs, including a game winner against Corbin Burns. Final game against the Brewers this week. Leads off this second and got hit. Was going to reach anyways on what would have been ball 4.
And that's the difference right now for Syndergaard. He had him in a 1-2 count, put him away, and he didn't put him away, and ended up it was going to be a walk, like you said, and that cannot feel good on the elbow. He'd lose all feeling right there for a little while, but that's the biggest difference of reinventing himself and how he's trying to get different ways to get hitters out, where he would rely on power and that power breaking ball, and it would have been over.
Leadoff man on, the 8-hitter Alec Burleson to the plate, and he takes ball 1 from Syndergaard. Burleson getting a chance with all the injuries the Cardinals have across the outfield. You've got Tyler O'Neill, who's on the IL, had 37 home runs last year. Dylan Carlson this week placed on the injured list. And so the 24-year-old who debuted late last year getting another chance here. There goes the runner from first, and no throw from Barnes. The Cardinals 2 for 2. The most efficient base stealing team in the National League. Not a good matchup for Syndergaard.
No, that's why leadoff batters getting on are going to be huge for the Cardinals, because they can get to second most times without a throw, just because of that slow delivery and lengthy delivery to home plate. I was asking some people around here, what's this young man's best position? And they said batter's box.
One of them. Second round draft pick out of East Carolina.
He's already taken more pitches than he averages on the year. Just to be the average.
Yeah, really aggressive guy. Takes another one here, ball 3. I mean, you just look at him. You could look at a baseball card of him and probably guess that his best position is batter's box. That beard and the hair and the flow. Yeah, burly guy, loves the batter's box. On a 3-1 from Syndergaard. Burleson fouls it back.
You know, with that style of hitting and that approach, he does a good job not swinging and missing a ton either on changeups. Like, you would think this would be a perfect changeup guy, the way he wants to uncoil and hit, but he really stays on the changeup and doesn't have a lot of swings and misses against right-handed pitchers on that pitch, which is extraordinary.
Swats one to left center field. That's headed for the gap. That's extra bases for Alec Burleson. In to score is DeYoung, and Burleson's got an RBI double. 2 innings, 2 runs for the Cardinals.
He does a great job staying on this pitch. It was supposed to be more inside. See how it tailed away, and he cut down his swing. He's got the stride out, but his hands stay back, and he's strong enough to find the gap in this big outfield. Easy double for him. And now a guaranteed guy that's going to hit the ball to the right side in Edman.
Just foul.
I mean, this is a classic. You never, you know, the bunt's gone, I get it, but in this case, you know, this hitter is going to A, make contact for the most part, and B, hit it on the ground to the right field side and advance the runner to third and turn the lineup over.
One of the many things Tommy Edman does. Quietly such a valuable player. Little things at the plate. Overall an above average hitter. He's graded out as the #1 base runner in the National League since becoming an everyday player in 21. One of the best fielders in the National League. He's got a Gold Glove and has played all over for the Cardinals this year.
Wow, that's unusual on those 2 swings to get that ball on the ground. He's one of the guys that does well in the zone, not so much out of the zone. So if he chases out of the zone, his success rate goes way down. But if he confines it to the strike zone, then his hitability is way better.
Burleson in second. He'll take off. Edman does ground it right side and was going to move up anyways. Vargas charges and flips underhand. Not in time. Late call by Nick Lentz, but it's a safe call.
They're going to look at that, don't they? Did I see something different when we saw it live? Yeah, they're going to look at that. I think he missed that one.
Normally when there's that long of a pause, it's an out call.
The safe call at first base.
Yeah, this will be a quick reversal, but a productive at bat. And it's funny because with 2 strikes, he had to protect the plate. That was an easy stolen base.
Yeah,
but he had to swing at a strike. And this play right here, threw a little underhand knuckleball to Freddie Freeman. And that won't take very long. That'll be an out and runner on third.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Los Angeles will retain their challenge.
So back to the top of the order for Lars Nootbaar with a man at third and 1 away. Nootbaar hit a 107-mile-per-hour line drive his first time up that was caught in center. Debuted with 58 games in 2021, was right around league average. Last year, not great in the first half, took off in the second half, and has continued that this year. Infield pulled in, and Nootbaar takes outside.
Well, he has loved hitting with runners on this year. Batting over 400 with runners on base, doesn't matter where. And with the infield in, that just increases his chance to boost that average.
Opening up those holes across the diamond. 1-0 pitch in the dirt, ball 2. This guy's always had good plate discipline. He's always had a high on base percentage, but a big increase in power as he's come up through the system and in his few years in the major leagues. Down to 2-0 from Syndergaard. Nootbaar takes low, ball 3.
Right on cue of what you were talking about. I mean, that on 80% of the players, they would have swung hard trying to drive that ball. He just doesn't swing and miss much, and he doesn't expand much.
Swings at a 3-0, drives it in the air to deep center. Hayward to the edge of the track has room, but this will bring home Burleson from third. 2 productive outs for the Cardinals and a 3-0 lead. Well, there's still time for your chance to win $10,000 for free on Fox Bet Super 6. All you've got to do is download the free Super 6 app on your phone now and enter your 6 baseball predictions in the Super 6 Challenge for a chance to win big. Base is clear. 2 out, and Goldschmidt, who singled and scored in the first inning. Strike 2. The first inning single, John, for Goldschmidt was his first hit of this series after he walked 6 times over the first 2 games. Digs this one out, lazily to right center field for Jason Hayward, and that'll wrap it up for the Cardinals in the second. They get 2 more and lead 3-0. You may notice the different hats and socks for these 2 teams today. It's Armed Forces Day. Baseball salutes all active duty veterans and their families for the service to our country. Go to MLBtogether.com to learn more about how you can help to serve those who serve us. Jason Hayward, who spent 1 season here in St. Louis, and it was a good one in 2015. Went on to the Chicago Cubs, of course, won a World Series. And his first year with the Dodgers, 1 ball 1 strike.
I don't think many pitchers work faster than Miles Mikolas, and he just gets it and goes and paints the corners and tries to stay out of the middle of the plate.
Thank you.
"34-year-old from Jupiter, Florida, which is a spring training home of the Cardinals, was part of his equation and deciding to sign with St. Louis. It's a weak pop-up, foul ground. Does Contreras have room? He does for the first out of the inning. Well, the Dodgers have won 16 of their last 20 games, but some concerns mounting as far as pitcher injuries, Kenny.
Joe, about 20 minutes before tonight's game, the Dodgers announced that Julio Urias was going on the injured list with a hamstring strain. He joins Dustin May, who's out 4 to 6 weeks. Ryan Pepiot out until after the All-Star break. Walker Buehler's still down, of course, recovering from Tommy John surgery. He is targeting September 1st, but you never know. No sure thing.
They have one of their top prospects in AAA, and Bobby Miller, who they say is not quite ready. Had a slow ramp up this spring because of an arm issue. A lot of talent in AA, still just a ways away from helping in the majors. But what was a pretty deep rotation, and it always works like this for any deep rotation, you tend to see that whittle down. That rotation depth getting tested greatly early on this year.
Yeah, what can be a really, really big strength can turn into a weakness quickly in most teams.
0-2 on Chris Taylor with a big curve there. Seven up, 7 down for Mikolas. Fires in 0-2, and it's poke foul.
The Dodgers last in the National League on four-seamers or four fastball sinkers, and tonight 0 for 6.
Oh no.
So you know that going in as a pitcher, just execute your pitches and make the stay on attack and get out of those deep counts, and that's what Miles has done against this lineup. A little different lineup, of course. Rested some guys are the Dodgers.
That's off.
Yeah, no Will Smith today, and the lineup just has a different feel when he's not in there. And then you look and see what the team does when he's not in there, and it's vastly different. Dodgers are 3 games below 500 and Will Smith doesn't play. 21-6 when he does.
That's off.
Outside, full count on Taylor. But of course, at catcher, you're going to have to give him some days off to play the long game, keep him fresh for the year.
Yeah, there's the numbers you're speaking to. That's pretty significant. Will Smith climbing the ladder is one of the best combo catchers in the game.
Taylor down on strikes, 2 away.
Well, when Miles Michaelis is on, he can throw and break the ball as good as anybody. He throws to both quadrants of the strike zone with his fastball, and then he's got enough break on his slider and a good downward action on his curveball to change what I call the eye level of the hitters and keep them off the sinker.
Pinpoint with a fastball.
But if you watch the first 3 innings, he hasn't thrown one fastball early in the count right down the middle that I can, remember. He's just been picking the corners.
0-2, just like that. With Smith not starting, Austin Barnes does, and the average below 100. The OPS just above 300. So the drop off vast from a guy who's among the leaders in the league in Smith. Michaelis looking for another 1-2-3 inning. The curve is chopped to Nolan Arenado, who's due up next inning. And perfect once through the order is Michaelis. For the Cardinals in the 3rd, it's Gorman, Arenado, and Contreras already leading 3-0. Lewis, beautiful spring day. Looking through the arch. Cardinals in front 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and Nolan Gorman swings and misses at Noah Syndergaard's first pitch. 3, 4, and 5 for St. Louis. A run in the first and 2 in the second. 3 hits and a walk against Syndergaard. Who's 0-1 pitch is cut on and missed. Strike 2.
Based on the start of this game, he knows getting a leadoff hitter huge.
Here's his 0-2. That fades away. The leadoff man reached last inning on a hit by pitch, but would have been ball 4, so lacked command of the leadoff man. He then stole second and scored 1 hitter later. The 1-2. Gorman hits it up the middle. Chris Taylor's there for the first out. So here comes Arenado, strikeout victim his first time. We got to be, John, with Mark DeRosa, Team USA during the World Baseball Classic, around guys like Arenado and Goldschmidt, and those were 2 of the guys he talked about being most impressed with.
He was blown away by him. I mean, you knew about him, but the intensity and the way they carried themselves in the WBC, he said, you just watch these 2 guys when they get to St. Louis and how they impact that team. And obviously they've gone through a lot in April, hadn't been good, but talking to their manager, he said these 2 guys are rock solid in that clubhouse.
Crushed through the left side. This is a screaming line drive for a base hit for Arenado, who's got a hit in 11 games in a row now.
Well, to have these 2 guys in your lineup is special, but to have their presence in the locker room is just as special. I don't know what he enjoys doing most. Getting hits or playing defense, because he does it both very well.
Incredibly, 10 years in the majors, 10 gold gloves. And I'll never forget what Mark DeRosa said about his pregame work. He said he takes every ground ball like it's Game 7 of the World Series. Contreras knocked in the first run, fouls back first pitch. And Arenado has even said, like, I know that it can be too much at times and it makes the game probably extra hard and I should relax more, but to get to the levels I want to get to, I have to be this way. This is why I am who I am. He runs. Syndergaard steps off, throws to second in time. Tag from Vargas. Arenado thinks he might have gotten around that tag. Very clearly, though, the Cardinals are seeing the track record of Syndergaard and saying, we are going.
Yeah, I mean, and at least he had the patience right here to step off. The catcher gives him the signal to throw to first, but he didn't panic. I'll tell you what, they may take a look at it, but oh man, that's real close, but they're going to choose not to. It goes the swim move right here, pulls that arm back. Not so sure they got him.
I'm sort of with you. And they're going to say play on. So bases wiped clear, 2 away. And Contreras takes strike 2. Chance for Syndergaard to get a much needed quick inning here, both for him and for the pitching staff.
Well, with the new rules, even the replay's been sped up, right? You don't have much time, 15 seconds or so. And so had they had more time to take a couple more looks, I'm sure they would have challenged that. But
off the glove of Barnes, stays 1-2.
My number 1 rule would be with my players. I know you want to be safe, but you have to be, like, if you're going to scream for a replay, you've got to know 100%. Cannot rely on your emotion for us to extend that, right? Because you see it all the time. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, replay, I'm safe. He would have to trust the player, and he'd have to have a pretty good track record.
Boy who cried wolf. You said you were safe last time and it wasn't close. Play on. 1-2 again from Noah Syndergaard. Contreras fights it off up the middle. Vargas gets it in front of the bag and throws him out to finish off. Pretty quick 3rd inning for Syndergaard. Top of the Dodge order coming up. That's Freeman and Martinez down 3-0. Telecast is sponsored by Jardiance. NLDS 2014 Game 4, Matt Adams. His go-ahead home run against Clayton Kershaw. Cardinals will go on to win that game in the series before falling in the NLCS to the Giants, who would eventually win it all. Top of the order for the Dodgers, looking for their first base runner against Miles Mikolas. It'll be Clayton Kershaw tomorrow against Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals, and an excellent pitching matchup to finish up the series. Betts lifts the ball to left field. Burleson moves over. He gets there with a sliding catch. Who says he can't field and that he only plays in the batter's box?
It was a very nice play. Ball going away from him, helped to be left-handed. Well, for the Dodgers, they got to do their heavy lifting here in this part of the lineup to put some points on the board. The bottom of the lineup not expected to do much based on the year they're having.
Down the line off of the bat of Freeman. That's in the seats.
But the top of the lineup is more than able to cover.
Yeah, without Smith, without James Outman today, you look at the averages from cleanup down. And okay, so don't even say cleanup because Muncy's got 15 home runs. But beyond that, 239, 204, 192, 190, 098.
Yeah. And the Dodgers know, like, you know, coming into this game, we talked about where the bullpen's been banged up. They're going to need Syndergaard to eat up some innings. Might lose the battle but win the war, right? You just got to make sure that you don't expend so many resources to win every single game. I mean, let's face it, you show up, you want to win every game. But when you've used your relievers as much as they have, they definitely need their starter to go deeper.
Freeman up the middle. First base hit of the game for the Dodgers. And guess who it comes from? Freddie Freeman is trying to turn it into a double, and he will. Major League leading or National League leading 26th extra base hit for Freddie Freeman, and he turned it into that busting out of the box.
Well, Freddie, they can shift against Freddie with the old rules. He still is going to hit 300, but now that they don't and can't, I think his average has a chance to go even higher.
Extends his hitting streak to 10 games at average above 320 on the year. Strike on JD Martinez. That's fouled off, and old friends facing off here, Ken Rosenthal.
Old college teammates at Nova Southeastern University, a Division II school in Davie, Florida. They haven't faced each other since 2011 in AA. JD says he hit a double off the wall. Michaelis said it didn't reach the wall and the center fielder misjudged it. I'll let them settle it.
Pretty amazing. A Division II school produces a couple big league all-stars who are on the same team together.
Who basically reinvented their careers.
Totally.
In the middle of their baseball.
JD, the well-publicized swing change. Mentioned Michaelis going to Japan for 3 seasons. Ground ball to the hole at short. DeYoung from short left field shows off a strong arm.
Wow, that's a really good play. I mean, JD doesn't fly down the line, but this is a ball in the hole. It takes a couple steps in one motion. Really good play. See if Max Muncy lets him get a free strike on him this time. Max Muncy's pretty patient.
Freeman at second, 2 gone. He took a curve inside. A lot of homers, a lot of walks. Always been the track record of Muncy. Leaves this one high, and it's 2-0. Yeah, and at least in the power category, this has been a great bounce back season for him. He injured his elbow on the final day of 2021, was never really the same last year. Hit below 200. Power didn't come until late in the year. Oh, it's like an ephus for a strike. 2-1. This season, second in the league in homers.
He definitely got his power stroke going there for a while, and then he'd been in a little bit of a funk, and that pitch right there giving him a little bit of the issues. So breaking balls, he'll chase them. But if you make a mistake down in the zone with that pitch, you won't miss it.
The 2-2. Climbs the ladder to get there. Popped up, foul ground at first. Goldschmidt over and out of room. That's what we're talking about with Max Muncy. He had a career high 36 home runs in 2021, but then the elbow injury lingered through last year. Got going over the final couple months, but overall it was a tough year for him. This year's slow first few weeks. Then he got going in San Francisco. Homered a couple times in one game. Only Pete Alonso more home runs across the big leagues than Muncy, who, like Martinez, like Michaelis, reinvented himself, changed his career. Big swing and a little spinner off the end of the bat to Arenado, who whips a throw across to get him. Dodgers get their first base runner, but nothing to show for it. Middle 4 in a 3-0 game. Back in St. Louis for the bottom of the 4th inning, and Adam Wainwright kind enough to join us, coming off his first win of the season. As Brendan Donovan jumps on the first pitch, rips it foul. Hello, Adam.
Only 3 starts, though. Don't make it sound so bad.
That's true. That's true. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. We see 2013 reunion. Probably fun having those guys around.
It is. That's the hard part about baseball is the split sometimes, you know. You get used to seeing somebody every day of your life for 6, 8 straight months, 10, 5, 6 years in a row, and then all of a sudden they get traded or move on, and you just literally never see that person ever again. So luckily there's reunions like that for great teams and teammates to get together.
Many of those guys you keep up with still, or?
No, only a few of them. Only a few of them. You know, I mean, that's the guys you get close with. I keep in touch with Jake Westbrook routinely, Shane Robinson, Jaime Garcia, those guys, Matt Holliday. But man, it's, you know, it's tough when everybody's living their own life in different states and got different programs going.
Syndergaard home with an 0-2 to Donovan. He fouls it off. Pretty nice run support you got the other night, huh?
Did you see that?
Well, how about that?
I told them all they have to do is score 18 and play airtight defense the rest of my career, and we'll win a whole lot of games.
You might keep on pitching for another 10 years. They do that,
That's
huh?
right. That's right. No, actually, no. I played just the end of the year.
Here's an 0-2 again. And that's down 1-2.
Adam, with all that you've been through and all the changes you've seen over the course of your career, how have the changes in the rules this year impacted you, if any?
Well, I still think we could use about 5 more seconds, honestly. I do think that the speed of your games is good as a whole. Just, I mean, speed of play. What are we averaging right now? Do y'all know? 230 or so?
Something like that. Yeah.
235. 230. And I think teams and players would probably love it, and fans too, if it was around 245 maybe. Teams will get to sell more Cokes. Fans will get to spend more time in the stands.
Caught it short, one away.
I have heard it. From fans. You know, the time you park and you walk in and you find your seat and go get some food. It's almost over an hour doing all that. So it's like you want to get your money's worth a little bit. But I do like the speed up rule. I do think that's been good. I think we could use about 5 more seconds. I think there's got to be some kind of maybe a pitcher timeout every now and then. Those big moments, you know, where you just need to, and you can just like negate the clock completely until you step back on the rubber. That would be good, I think. But as a whole, the clock hasn't bothered me. I like moving fast anyways. Maybe just a few times a game I feel like I'm kind of pinched with time with a pitch I want to throw, or thinking back through at bats or whatever. But listen, now playing big league baseball for the Cardinals, I can't really complain about too much. I'm very blessed.
1 ball, 1 strike on Paul DeJong in a 3-0 game here in the 4th. Ken Rosenthal shared with us the little presentation that you put together. It sounds like you used your time on the injured list for good use, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, I got a little bored. My family was in Georgia, and so I was here all by myself, and I'm watching our team. They're out west there in California, and we were struggling for wins there. And I just thought, you know, I wonder how atypical our month that we're having right now is from every other season. And turns out almost every team has a. Would you like to tell what just happened there?
It's a strikeout looking. Thank you. You're great at this.
It turns out almost every team has a situation or has a month during the season where they have a losing record of some sort, right? Like in 2019 said we were at 3-17 during one part of that season. So I pointed out that it's a little atypical that we started that way. It's very atypical, but it's not atypical to have a losing record month during a season. So if you just consider.
In the air to right center field. That's a lunging catch. Go ahead, Adam.
If you just consider that that's the bad month and you move on and play great baseball from there on, you got your bad month out of the way. It's all good sailing from there. So.
And you got your interview out of the way. All good sailing. Adam, always appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Dodgers only have 1 base runner against Miles Mikolas through 4 innings. Miguel Vargas leads off the 5th and takes ball 1 from Mikolas. Vargas flied to right his first time. Comes in with a 6-game hitting streak, which is the best of his young career. Only 23 years old, out of Cuba. And he gets under this ball, sends it to center for Nootbaar. 1 gone in the 5th, and for the first time today, a game break. We check in with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, KB, here's David Peralta taking ball 1. That American League West, an interesting division where, you know, Houston's reigned there for so long, but you've got Texas looking like world beaters so far in first place. That curve is looped into right center field. Into the gap it goes, and it's going to make its way to the wall. Extra bases for Peralta. He'll settle into second with a 1-out double.
Did a nice job on this breaking ball, just staying back and throwing his hands, right? You see the breaking ball, if you try too much to hook that or lift it, it's a different result. And Peralta, runner in scoring position for Jason Hayward.
From one former Cardinal, at least Cardinal farmhand in Peralta, to another, Jason Hayward, who popped out behind the plate his first time. Grounds this one off. Michaelis ricochets to DeYoung, who saves a run, but it's an infield hit for Hayward.
Oh, us pitchers just can't help ourselves. And you think the ball is hit, you got to do whatever you can to knock it down. He tries to with his foot, and it would have been an easier play for the shortstop, but the natural reactions of the game, you got to make decisions quick. Sometimes you make wrong ones.
Cracking the door open for the Dodgers. First and third, tying run to the plate in the form of Chris Taylor. And Taylor pops the first pitch off the end of the bat. Long run for Tommy Edman. Still going. Edman gets there and fires home to keep Peralta at third. 2 gone.
Well, aggressive style hitting from Taylor got the Cardinals possibly out of a jam here. First and third, now 2 outs. I mentioned the bottom of the lineup. Barnes has not played a ton and has been struggling at the plate.
Below 100 on the year. Best chance for the Dodgers in this game. Peralta's at third and Hayward's at first. Dodgers stay aggressive. It's a weak ground ball to short. DeYoung feeds second, and that's the inning. Well, there's all that action in the inning, but it happens on 7 pitches. Nothing through 5 innings. Noah Syndergaard. Dodgers badly needed to get deep into this game, and even though he gave up a bunch of traffic over the first 2 innings, he's at least accomplishing that, pitching into the 5th at 72 pitches. 9-1-2 for the Cards. Tommy Edman slashes the first pitch to left center, and Peralta's there. Tomorrow on FS1, with $1 million on the line, NASCAR's best take on the historic track at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race, beginning at 5 Eastern with the All-Star Open, and then the engines fire at 8. Don't miss the heart-pumping action Sunday on FS1. The 1 pitch, 1 out for Syndergaard in this 5th inning, and here is Lars Nootbaar. Lined out, drove in a run with a sac fly. It takes a strike.
Yeah, he's pitched to contact, has Syndergaard, and really the only trouble he gets in is when that runner gets on and steals second, and they were stealing third and creating a little stress for Syndergaard. So getting that first hitter out is always important.
The Cards have only had 1 base runner over the last 3 innings, and he was wiped off of the bases, getting caught trying to steal. Syndergaard in his first year in LA. On the ground to first, backhand Freeman, race to the bag, won by Syndergaard. 2 up and 2 down. Debuted when he was just 22 years old. Got Cy Young votes. Was an ace on a World Series team for the Mets. Was an All-Star in 2016, and it looked like he was headed for one of the great young careers of any pitcher in baseball, but then injuries started to bite him. He missed most of 2017 with a torn lat, missed almost all of 20 and 21 undergoing Tommy John, and then several setbacks from that. And now in his 8th year, different guy, and looking for new ways to succeed. Off the end of the bat, Goldschmidt, strike 1.
I will give him this. I mean, we're not going to see too many of these transformations in the future, and what I mean by that is, based on the style of pitching and the way that guys are training, you either throw 100 and that's it. Once you drop down to 90, you're done. I mean, just not given the freedom and the rope to pitch, and he's at least learning with his new weapon how to navigate the lineup in the big leagues. And you think about it, the day and age of the Kershaws and Scherzers and Verlanders and the Adam Wainwrights, we're not going to see that longevity and the ability to pitch past 10 years with the style of pitching that we're asking these guys to throw now.
All out, max effort, pitch 1.
Yeah, call it red line pitching. You know, you see the tachometer on your car, and there's a reason why there's a red line on the 6 and 7 is you don't want to live in that part of that driving the car. Eventually going to blow out your engine, and I call it red line pitching for a lot of guys who know how to max effort and create spin and velocity.
Strike 3 called. Goldschmidt takes it. It's a 1-2-3 inning on 8 pitches, and he's faced the minimum over the last 3. Cardinals 3, Dodgers nothing. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal back at Busch Stadium. Top of the order for the Dodgers, and ball one from Miles Michaelis, who's given up just one base runner, or given up just 3 base runners through 5 innings and no runs.
He's done a great job missing the barrel of the bat.
Betts loops this one into left field. That's a leadoff base hit. First time today the Dodgers have put the leadoff man on.
You think about not giving up any runs and only 5 swings and misses on his pitches. So he's keeping it off the barrel where hard contact is not happening. And he's mixing up his pitches to keep this good offense off balance at the top of the order.
And of course you love strikeouts, but if you can miss the barrel like he is, he's at 64 pitches early on in the 6th.
Well, that's the missing component to finish the topic of what we were talking about. When you max effort, you don't have economy on your side because you're going to be throwing a lot more pitches.
Freeman jumps on the first one. Back-to-back hits for the Dodgers to open the 6th. Betts heads for third. He gets there. And the big guys at the top of the lineup setting the table for LA.
Well, we mentioned it last time they were in this spot of the lineup. This is the only way they're going to get back in the game, is to have the big boys do their thing. And not everybody has to hit homers to get back in the game. You get some hits together and string the rally. And JD Martinez, one of the best low ball hitters in the game.
0 for 2 today. Has hit it hard to short both times. Takes ball 1, low and away. .35-year-old in his 13th year. First one in Dodger blue. Waits on that pitch. Fouls it off. 1-1. 5 years in Boston. Was top 5 in the American League in average and in slugging and in on base. Truly one of the great hitters in baseball the last decade.
One thing that he'd want to shore up is the swing and miss with runners in scoring position. Too high a percentage. JD is an RBI machine and has been for most part of his career. And this is a situation right here where he's got to put it in play to at least score 1 run.
First and third, nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Taken low. 2-2. Michaelis deals. Martinez watches it miss badly. The count is full.
Well, we'll see what Dave Roberts does. Do you trust one of the better hitters in JD Martinez by sending Freddie Freeman here on this pitch? I say yes.
Let's see. Freeman runs really well for first baseman. Not running. 3-2. Driven in the air. Left center field. Way back there. JD Martinez. A game-tying 3-run shot. His 6th in a Dodger uniform, perhaps the biggest yet.
Well, Miles is going to kick himself over this one. He had him set up with 2 strikes and brought the count back to neutral. And you see it through a high sinker. And that one did not sink off the bat of JD Martinez. He got on top of it. And just like that, dominating performance to now tie game 3-3.
Muncy on a first pitch curve out in front of it. Dodgers, one of the top home run hitting teams in baseball. And it's a home run from Martinez that takes it from 3-0 to 3-3 on 1 swing. Blowout win for the Cardinals in the first game of this series, 16-8. Turned into a comfortable win for the Dodgers last night, 5-0. This one's tied up in the 6th. Another curve and another foul. Let's check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Well, JD Martinez told me yesterday that Nova Southeastern University's athletic director, Mike Momini, was texting him, excited about the Shark versus Shark matchup, JD versus Michaelis. and there won't be any dispute about that ball that he just hit.
Yeah, I know there was dispute, Kenny. You mentioned when they faced off in the minors whether the double like skipped to the wall or hit off the wall. There will be no doubting that, and no shortage of ways to watch replays of it, because it's a big league home run for J.D. Martinez, who was a 20th round draft pick out of Nova Southeastern in 2009 of the Houston Astros. And of course, the Astros famously cut him loose while he was overhauling his swing. He was just about the only guy in the world that knew that he was going to be different. The Tigers took a flyer on him. He proved very quickly with them he was a changed man, and one of the best hitters in baseball from that point forward. How bad was he, though? I mean, he was cast off by an historically bad team.
Yeah.
Astros were losing 110 games a year then. Another 1-2 to Muncy. With a curve, 2-2.
See, that was the right pitch after a fastball above the zone, but that curve didn't start quite high enough to entice Muncy, who struggles with that breaking ball. Ended up down below the zone.
2-2 on the infield. Edman climbing the mound, making the grab. That can fool with you.
There is no way I'm not catching that.
This is my mound, huh?
I'm used to it. I'm on the terrain. You got some second baseman flying in from all the way back there. Easily could trip on the mound. Got to change those dynamics.
You just shouting right away that it's yours, or they know to stay back? Vargas, strike one.
That's hit so high I can turn around to every one of them and say, stay back. Stay back.
One at a time. You. It's 1-2.
And now if you're not gonna catch it, right, the old adage is you got to play traffic cop. You have to tell as the pitcher and designate who catches that ball. I mean, this ball's up there forever, so he's going to get out of the way, and then he should be telling. No, he's taking cover.
Put in play, cut off by Michaelis. 2 out. Not everybody is the greatest fielding pitcher of all time. Batting practice,
home run robber,
and pop-ups on the mound.
No, I mean, you're on the mound. Every one of them. Especially him. He's good enough athlete. Finishes in good position. You see him make nice play right there. It's just one of those stereotypes that 1 out of every 5 pitchers probably couldn't catch that.
Peralta with 2 away. One-time pitcher himself in the Cardinals organization. Go all the way back to 2005. 18 years ago, Cardinals signed him as a pitcher and spent a few years in their minor league system, but underwent 2 shoulder surgeries. They released him. He's sitting there thinking, okay, my baseball career is probably over unless I give it a go as a hitter. Incredible long shot at that point, of course. Goes to independent ball, tears it up there for a couple seasons. Arizona signs him to a minor league contract, makes it to the majors 1 year later, and he's now been in the big leagues for a decade. 2-2 on Peralta.
Those are always great stories that you don't hear too often. Be successful. You hear the flip side of, everyone knows the Kenley Jansen story. Once light hitting catcher, now dominant closer.
Peralta into center field. Nootbaar makes the play. But the Dodgers have tied the game on a 3-run home run from J.D. Martinez. Middle 6 in St. Louis. All tied up. Successful organizations in the National League over the last decade. Dodgers have won the West 9 times in 10 years. They won 106 games and finished in second the 1 year they didn't. Although hot starts have not necessarily been their thing. This is only the 4th time they've been in first place at this stage of the season over the last decade. Nolan Gorman grounds the first pitch foul as Yency Almonte comes in to pitch. Standings at this point, Arizona won earlier today. Padres have lost 10 of their last 12 games and are 8.5 games out.
That's the most shocking team in baseball.
Gorman into center, sinking, leadoff base hit, Nolan Gorman.
Well, Monte is going to throw his fastball and sinker combination, and then he'll throw a slider and changeup. You see the numbers on the year, high ERA, but the walks a little too high.
We had 5 straight scoreless outings coming into this week, but he's given up 7 runs in 2 games this week. So just like that, Gorman is aboard. Arenado's at the plate, 1 for 2. Both guys have extended their hitting streaks to 11 games. Syndergaard gets the Dodgers 5 innings. They get him off of the hook with a game-tying homer from Martinez. On to the bullpen here. And quickly 0-2.
That is rare. You're going to see a pitch right down the middle. Look like Arenado may be guessing on a different type of pitch, but he let one right down the middle. As Noah Syndergaard hung in there, did his job for 5 innings.
Ball.
Almonte's 1-2 is spinner away. 2-2. And a guy that grew up in Southern California as a diehard Dodger fan, dreaming of being the next Adrian Beltre. Nolan got his 1,000th career RBI earlier this week. His first RBIs came in the ballpark he grew up going to games in, Dodger Stadium. On 2-2. Hits one on the ground left side. Taylor charges, goes to second, gets the lead runner, and they turn a double play, which looked improbable with as slowly as that ball was hit.
Yeah, this ball was jammed and hit to the shortstop, and I'm like you, as soon as that was hit right there, I didn't think they had a chance. What a great turn.
Wipes him clean, 2 gone. Contreras fouls it off. Knocked in the first run of the day for St. Louis. 7 knocked in 3 games in this series. Taylor again, routine this time. Scoreless 6th, Yency Almonte. Tie game to the 7th. Is 50% off for a limited time. Stream every out-of-market game on your favorite supported devices. Go to MLB.tv for details. St. Louis's own Nelly, who is a fantastic ball player in his own right, that got some pro attention while he was a high school player in St. Louis, but the whole music career worked out okay. Jason Hayward leads off the 7th for the Dodgers in a tie game. Miles Michaelis deals 0-1. Hayward chops it to second, charging Edman. 1 away. Game break again. Here's Kevin Burkhardt. One gone in the 7th, and Chris Taylor takes strike 1. 0 for 2 today. All-star in 2021, and his most memorable moment of that season, the walk-off home run against these Cardinals in the wild card round. Long way to go here for Tommy Edman and Paul Goldschmidt. They're out of room. But since that all-star season in 2021, Taylor has really struggled. Struggling out of the gates again this year.
Well, his swing is based on his last name. He's tailor-made his swing, and it doesn't really deviate. So from pitch to pitch, count to count, it's kind of the same approach. And when he's going good, he's hitting those mistakes. But a big swing, a lot of swing and miss. I think some of the most strikeouts since the last 3 years of anybody.
"32 years old, decade in the majors for Chris Taylor. 8 of those seasons with the Dodgers." Tries to lay off that fastball and does, and the count evens 2-2. Signed an extension after that big 2021. Second year of that. Another 2 years on it. On a 2-2, it's a curve and it's tapped foul. Well, even though the offensive numbers have not been good, what he's continued to bring him is great versatility, especially some of the injuries they've dealt with at shortstop. Gavin Lux lost for the year. Rojas spent time on the injured list, so Taylor's filled in great there. Popped into right. Donovan back at first. Recovers well. 2 out.
But to your point, I just looked it up. I thought I saw it. Second most strikeouts since 2021. I don't think that his name would come up in the top 10. But he's number 2.
Because usually you envision the big burly
Right.
sluggers on that list. Two up and 2 down in the 7th inning. Michaelis looking for his first clean inning since the 3rd. He's in there with strike 1 on Barnes.
That's off.
1-1.
More than likely, this is last hitter, even though the pitch count wouldn't indicate it. You're talking about going through the lineup 4 times. People freak out when you go through the lineup 3 times.
Barnes up the middle. On a bounce, it's Edman from short center field. And for the first time this year, Miles Michaelis goes 7 innings. Telecast is sponsored by Geico. See how easy it is to bundle all your insurance needs. Stan the man outside of Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. Good game going on. Dodgers and Cardinals are tied at 3. The bottom of the 7th inning, and the Cardinals trying to recover from that 10-24 start. They're within 5.5 games. Brewers already lost today. Their 12th loss in their last 18 games. Pirates lost as well. Their 13th loss in their last 17 games. The Cubs have lost 11 of their last 16. And at the same time, Cardinals have caught fire, winning 9 of 12. This one's still very much hanging in the balance. Tied at 3 as Brendan Donovan leads off against Justin Brule and sends the first pitch in the air to center field, but no big deal for Jason Hayward. 1 away and down to Kenny.
Guys, as poorly as the Cardinals started, I would not be surprised if they won this division by 10 games. Joe, you just outlined some of the issues in the NL Central, and you can look at it right here. And the big one is what has happened to the Brewers' rotation. Wade Miley out, Brandon Woodruff both out until the end of June. Those are 2 key guys for the Brewers, and they don't have the depth that other teams do.
DeYoung takes inside ball 1. That's 10 games. John, you look skeptical.
Yeah, I don't know about 10 games.
Do you think, though, that they still come back and win the division? I think that's the main point.
A really good chance of doing that. I think, though, for the Cardinals and what they have and their assessment of their organization, they're going to have to make a move at the All-Star break or close to it. And if they could add a pitcher in the rotation, then yes, that answer is a definite yes. There's so many things that you don't know, though. From an injury standpoint, you've got to realize every team's going to go through injuries. It hits every team, and it's hit some of those teams Kenny's mentioned, and that's why the league is going to kind of squeeze back up.
1-2 on Paul DeYoung. Well, they certainly can hit when they're right. You can put this lineup up against any in baseball.
There's no doubt about that. It's just awfully difficult. We saw we denoted the stretch they were on, 7.1 runs per game, I think, in that 12-game stretch. I mean, that's a little much to ask, but
swing and a miss, 2 away.
The way the Cardinals are built, that they should win 2-1 as well. The team that's running away with 1-run games in the National League, I think you could give everybody 20 guesses and they wouldn't get it. But the Miami Marlins, I think, are 15-2 in one-run games. Now that's the difference on their season. Can they sustain that? No. They would say no, that's not a sustainable stat. But can the Cardinals keep hitting and scoring 5 and 6 runs a game? Time will tell.
Mark Pryor, the pitching coach, out for a visit here with Justin Brewers. Juan Yepez is sent up as the pinch hitter. And the Cardinals, even in last place, and even with a 10-24 mess to begin the year, they have a positive run differential, meaning they've scored more runs than they've allowed this year. The Marlins are in second place, well above 500, even though they have a negative run differential, because exactly what you're talking about. They've been otherworldly in those close games.
Yeah, and that's a hard trend. It's a good thing to have happen, right? A lot of stat people will tell you that's a random act that's hard to reproduce and that it's not sustainable, but they're winning the games like 1-0. They're not up 5-0 and winning 5-4. I mean, they're winning close games and at an alarming rate right now.
Yepez had a pinch hit home run on Thursday night. Rips this ball to short, and hot hands Chris Taylor throws it across to get him. Heck of a play on a short hop from a guy who only plays short occasionally. And after 7 innings in St. Louis, tied at 3 on Baseball Night in America. Stadium profile, Busch Stadium, third version of Busch Stadium, opened in 2006. We saw a home run record for this ballpark on Thursday night, with the two teams combining for 9 home runs. Some changes to report. Oscar Mercado into the game in right field. Brendan Donovan goes from right to left after Alec Burleson was pinch hit for. And on the mound for the Cardinals now, an all-star last year, Ryan Helsley. Top of the order for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts shoots the first pitch on the ground to Tommy Edman. We've had a bunch of first pitch outs in this game.
Yeah, it's been an aggressive style from both sides, and defense has been very active. Helsley is going to have basically your fastball slider combination. Nothing better than a reliever to come in the game, face the top of the order, which, by the way, has produced all the runs, 4 for 9, and the rest of the order for the Dodgers 2 for 18.
Freddie Freeman has 2 hits today and takes inside ball 1. Helsley last season had an ERA of 1.25 and was an all-star. Averages close to 100 with his fastball. 28-year-old from Oklahoma fires a 1-0. Freeman tries to lay off and does. Ball 2. Facing the newest member of the 300 home run club, Freddie Freeman. And bringing him a 2-0 pitch. Whistles in there for a strike. Down to Kenny.
Freddie said the 300th homer was cool, but 2,000 hits will be even cooler. He is 37 hits short, and he says, listen, I just love hits. I'm a hit guy. I'd rather go 3 for 4 with 3 singles than 1 for 4 with a homer.
Chase is here, and it's 2-2. And going to get those 2,000 hits this year. 3,000 hits not out of the question with his durability. On a 2-2 from Helsley. Freeman swats it foul. And it feels like Freddie's been around for 25 years, but he's still only 33.
Yeah. He's unique in every category, and certainly been relatively healthy, and just every day just gives you the same approach.
Another 2-2. And it hit him. Freddie Freeman, who's the best 2-strike hitter in baseball by a pretty wide margin, fouled off a couple of pitches and then gets hit, and the go-ahead run reaches.
Breaking ball, and if you're going to get hit by one of the 2 pitches, yeah, that's better than the 101.
Yeah. Just sort of skim that leg. So Freeman is on, and the guy with the big swing for the Dodgers today, JD Martinez, is up.
JD is be an interesting matchup against velocity. Velocity is caught up to JD just a little bit, 95 and above. Struggles a little more than he used to.
3-run home run off Miles Michaelis in the 6th inning. He's got Freeman at first, 1 gone, tied at 3. Yeah, takes in the dirt. Freeman not going anywhere as Contreras keeps it close by. Freddie Freeman, by the way, has 6 stolen bases this year. Helsley hard to run on. Not going. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
You know what's amazing about JD and as he winds up his incredible career is every year, like as a broadcaster, you look at, okay, there's certain guys you can say he's going to struggle against sliders 4 years in a row. He closes the door every year of something he was weak that year before.
Down swinging here. And doesn't it feel like with the small handful of the best hitters in the game, they all share that quality?
Yeah, I mean, they look at what the year was like, and there's that tight slider breaking down. I mean, there was a time where he couldn't hit a changeup to save his life, and then he closed that door the next year, and so on and so forth. So there's areas that he's gone to kind of look at what happened the year before, and then how do I shape my swing to address that issue so that pitchers can't keep going to it.
Ball 1 on Muncy. Hitless in 3 at-bats today. Go ahead, run it first. 2 gone in the 8th. Power against power here. Helsley deals and wrinkles in 78. Helsley out of Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Town of 15,000 people. All the way from there to a big league all-star. Here's his 1-1 pitch. Muncy takes ball 2.
He's got some kind of strong shoulder. I mean, his arm swing and the velocity that he has when he throws. You got to have a strong shoulder to do that, and he definitely does. And lower half is probably just as strong.
His 2-1 is swung on and missed. 2-2. What, you got to gear up for 101 and then he can do that?
Well, I mean, he's got that long arm and just whips it down the zone, and he comes off that tight fastball with a incredibly tight breaking ball. It's just a great weapon to have.
Got him. Back door for strike 3. Scoreless 8th from Ryan Helsley. Tie game to the last of the 8th.
You got a sweep.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Allstate, protecting you from mayhem. Speaking of mayhem, on this date, 1976, you had Piniella and Fisk, the fight at home plate. And on this date in 2006, our good friend A.J. Brzezinski getting socked in the face by Michael Barrett. Victor Gonzalez into the game, tied at 3, bottom of the 8th. No fighting up in here, Johnny.
No.
Let's keep it clean.
We'll keep it clean.
How about Gonzalez, though? 10 games in his return to the major leagues, first appearances in 2 years, and he's not given up an earned run. He's been almost untouchable against right-handed hitters. And it's a right-hander here, Tommy Edman taking ball 1.
Well, when he was right, and it looks like he's back to being right, he has a unique release point that the opposite side here, the right-hander, just doesn't see it as well. And another good arm the Dodgers are throwing out there.
Swing and a miss. Sweeps under the swing of Edman. 1-1.
You know, the roster's changed a little bit for the Dodgers. You and I have talked about that. You obviously cover them. And, you know, some of the concerns might be, can they do the style of bullpenning that they're doing throughout the entire year? Will it catch up to them?
Edman hooks one down the line towards the corner and off the wall. Extra bases for Tommy Edman to start the 8th. It's a double.
He just catches it out in front, hooks it down the line. This almost got out. I mean, he hit the 3/4 of the way up the fence. And Edman hooks it down the line for a rare, would have been a rare home run. But what I was talking about is that go-to guy. They just don't have a particular go-to guy, but they've been able to use and mix and match, and they feel like their bullpen is well able
Top of the order, Lars Nootbaar. Strike one from Gonzalez, who's emerged as one of those guys Dave Roberts has trusted in big spots, joining Caleb Ferguson from the left side. From the right side, Evan Phillips has certainly been the highest leverage guy, also with Brusdar Graterol. But no defined closer. It's a bouncer foul, and it's 0-2.
And again, in 162, you can get away with that easy. It's just going to be what happens when the moments get really big in the playoffs and the mix and match doesn't work that particular day. But there's no doubt what the Dodgers do in their arms and their system and their pitching, it is just second to none with how they keep reproducing it.
Gonzalez would love a strikeout here. The go-ahead run at second and nobody out. Nootbaar trying to move him up on an 0-2. Strikeout with a sweeper.
Well, good side of the plate when he threw that ball. Again, left-handers should see a unique release point as well, and that tight slider caught him leaning and got out front. He couldn't stay back.
Tie game, one gone in the 8th. The MVP Paul Goldschmidt up to the plate, and the MVP Paul Goldschmidt down to first. They're going to put him on and bring up a lefty-lefty matchup with Nolan Gorman. Gorman's having a great season, but a lot of that has been against right-handed pitching. He's seen more opportunities lately against lefties and shown an ability to hit them. Just not enough of a sample there yet for that to be clear that this is going to be a strength of his. So this is the matchup Dave Roberts looks for. 2 on, 1 out, tie game in the 8th. Gorman takes low.
As you see the numbers on the year for righties and lefties, it looks like in his limited experience likes the ball away against left-handers, struggles with the ball inside.
Perfect pitch, 1-1. Nolan Gorman was a first-round draft pick, 2018. Debuted on this day a year ago as a 22-year-old. One of the emerging young hitters in the National League. He's got 2 on with 1 out in the 8th. And he cranks the ball way back to right. Gorman breaks the tie. On the 1-year anniversary of his call-up, one of his biggest swings yet.
First pitch down. Second pitch, they get outside corner, and then he comes down middle. And if that ball's inside a little more, maybe a different result, but pitcher knew it, catcher knew it, everybody knew it.
That is it for Victor Gonzalez. Nolan Gorman continues to get opportunities against left-handed pitchers and shows why they're giving him more chances. Breaks the 3-3 tie with a 3-run home run here in the 8th. His second against a left-handed pitcher, and it breaks the tie in the 8th inning. Tyler Sear on to pitch for the Dodgers. Second day in a row. Made his Dodger debut yesterday and finished yesterday's game with a scoreless 9th inning. And not just 13 home runs for Nolan Gorman, but some big ones. He had one in the 9th inning against Kenley Jansen at Fenway Park last weekend to win that game. And he's hoping that this one is a game winner here.
Well, we talked about it in the open. The offense has been the reason they've been successful, but they've also been carried by 2 Nolans in their offense. And the 3-run homer right on cue. That had to be 108 off the bat.
105.
Oh, they sell that up that quick, huh?
I just made it up. No, they do have it up there. 105.5 off the bat of Arenado. 1 for 3 today. That's hit hard as well, and through. 104, and his second hit. Next weekend, celebrate Memorial Day weekend with Baseball Night in America. These Cardinals visit Cleveland. Red Sox go west to take on the upstart Diamondbacks, or you can head to Wrigley. The Reds and the Cubs all starting next Saturday, 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
I say he swings at the first pitch.
Good bet.
Wow, you didn't eat your pretzel.
I had a few pieces of it. How many did you eat?
Oh, if I'd have known you didn't eat your pretzel, I'd have gone over there.
It's still right here, buddy. I can just shift it on over to you. There you go. You got a guy? You got a pretzel guy here?
Yeah, it's one level up. I was a little winded. I had to go up 3 flights of stairs and get back down here.
You went up a floor in the middle of an inning?
Yeah.
Like between innings?
Test my new hips.
Wow. 0-2 on Contreras. Hall of Famer.
And then I almost choked on the first peach.
You were out of breath. And you took half the pretzel in the first bite. That's probably something to do with it, too. Best ballpark pretzel. Do you have a park where they're particularly good? Is it really?
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
Another 0-2 from Tyler Sear. Contreras fights it off at first. Freeman will make the catch, but Arenado's back in there. So 2 out.
Freeman just gets off the bag, and that was a short hop.
Yeah. So then how are they going to place the runners here if they were to? They're not going to go to replay, I guess. Some players stepped away for a moment there. Dodgers' preference would have been that that was called 1 hop, because then it would have been a double play. The toss down to second. Or with a tag. Slow on Donovan.
Yeah, Freddie knew he 1 hopped it, so he had to make the tag. If you catch it in the air, you just got to touch the base. And
2-0. Donovan looking for his first hit of this series at 0 for 10. Gold Glove winner as a rookie in the new utility Gold Glove spot. Fouls it back. 2-1. Natural position is second base, but he's played all 4 infield positions. He's played both corner outfield positions, something that he started doing in the minors. 26 years old, second year in the big leagues. Originally from Germany. Grew up in a military family.
well, since I butchered my scorecard badly, I mean so bad. Who's coming up? Who we got coming up for the Dodgers next game?
Vargas, Peralta, Hayward. What'd you do to it?
I kept scoring
pretzels everywhere, all over it.
I kept scoring the wrong half innings and then just kept doing it.
Yeah.
So
snowballed on you?
It did.
Yeah.
Got away from me. Not gonna lie.
Tyler Sear, 30 years old, out of Fremont, California. Just celebrated his 30th birthday a couple weeks ago. Home of the 3-2. That's in there for strike 3. And sends this game to the 9th, but the Cardinals are back in front. Nolan Gorman having a monster second season. Big time home run here. 6-3 St. Louis to the 9th. The rookie Vargas leads off the 9th. Ryan Helsley's trying to go 2 innings, which he's done once this season. Did it in Boston a week ago. Vargas, Peralta, and Hayward for the Dodgers. Cardinals up 6-3 after the Gorman home run in the bottom of the 8th. Vargas down the line, fair ball. Base hit for Vargas to open the inning. He's got to be sure. Down 3, throw in late. Double for Miguel Vargas, extending his hitting streak to 7 games. And the leadoff man on for LA.
This one just over the bag. Of course, they didn't think, and rightfully so, playing him off the line. You're not going to pull 101, but he pulled a slider down the line.
Vargas has looked really good the last couple weeks. Starting to look like the guy that blazed through the minors, hitting above 300 as one of the Dodgers' top prospects. Peralta takes in the dirt. Peralta trying to reach to get the tying run to the plate in the 9th inning. He doubled earlier. He's reached in 8 games in a row.
Up.
2-0.
Yeah, last thing you want to do as a closer is put the tying run at the plate. It'd make them hit their way on. Of course, you're up by 3, and you got to always factor that in. Not many free passes to put the tying run at the plate.
Oh, he helped him. Remember, the Dodgers have 2 of their top bats available off of the bench today, James Outman and Will Smith.
You got to believe Will Smith will be hitting for Barnes.
On 2-1, Peralta takes low this time. Helsley's not been in the strike zone with any of these pitches. And you can see Will Smith behind Dave Roberts there with his batting gloves on, and James Outman right next to Dave Roberts. Likely for Chris Taylor. Double for Vargas. 3-1 count on Peralta. He rips a line drive, base hit into right center field. Vargas stopped at 3rd. Peralta hangs on with a single. Back-to-back hits for the Dodgers, getting the tying run to the plate in the 9th inning with nobody out. The MLB app is still the #1 place for live baseball. Real-time highlights, breaking news faster than ever. Download the MLB app today. Double from Vargas, single from Peralta. And now Jason Hayward comes up as the tying run. And a mound visit coming here from Dusty Blake. Now, this is the other thing with the Cardinals and their slow start and the pitching being as rough as it's been. It's not just Yadier Molina is no longer here. Mike Maddox, the longtime pitching coach, left for Texas, and Dusty Blake, who's never been a big league pitching coach, is in his first year on the job here.
Yeah, all kinds of transition that they'll, I'm sure, get used to. Once they feel like they're clicking now and they've worked out their differences, got exposed outwardly and was painful for a little while, but will pay benefits.
MLB is partnering with Crisis Text Line to increase mental health awareness and access to support. So for free, 24/7 and confidential support in English and Spanish, text MLB to 741741. At the corners, nobody out in a 6-3 game in the 9th inning. Jason Hayward, who's got 4 home runs this year, takes ball 1 from Helsley, who's been all over the place in this 9th inning. Seven straight scoreless outings coming in for the All-Star. That's a strike. One ball, one strike. Helsley deals. Hayward cranks a ball to right center field. That's down and bounces its way short of the track. Vargas in to score. Peralta to third. A third consecutive hit for the Dodgers to open the 9th inning. It's 6-4. The tying run is in scoring position and still no outs.
Pretty impressive by the Dodgers right here. A guy who had just steamrolled him the inning before hasn't gotten it out, and Hayward went down to get a low pitch and just smoked it in the gap, and that's going to be it for Helsley, and the Dodgers got the tying runs on the bases.
So Helsley's finished. Second and third, nobody out. Chris Taylor's spot in the order is coming up. Giovanni Gallegos is coming in. We'll see if Dave Roberts pulls the trigger on using James Outman. Continues on FS1 and Fox. First it's noon Eastern, New Orleans Breakers and the Philadelphia Stars on FS1. And then the New Jersey Generals and the Houston Gamblers on Fox at 4. Well, in the bottom of the 8th inning, it was Nolan Gorman breaking a 3-3 tie with a 3-run home run, putting the Cardinals right on the doorstep of taking a 2-1 series lead. And they still lead this game, but the Dodgers are knocking at the door. 3 straight hits to open the 9th and chase Ryan Helsley. 6-4, second and third, no outs. Giovanni Gallegos comes on, and James Outman, the rookie, goes up to pinch hit for Chris Taylor.
Been an amazing game. Didn't see the 3-run homer in the bottom half of the inning, and didn't see the tying run and winning run coming up potentially for the Dodgers. So give each offense credit for battling against some pretty good pitchers, and the Dodgers are looking to try and tie this thing up.
Peralta at third, Hayward at second. Veteran setting the table for the rookie. James Outman, first one from Gallegos. Swing and a miss. First pitch changeup. Outman went from long shot to make the roster in spring training to front runner for Rookie of the Year, leading all rookies in the National League in home runs and in RBIs. On this 0-1 pitch, it's a high fastball. That's where guys have gone to try and get him. Outman slumped a little bit lately, but had one of his biggest swings yet on Wednesday. Game-winning grand slam. On this 1-1, he leaves it upstairs and is ahead 2-1. All atop the leaderboards. The rookie Outman pinch hitting in the 9th. Swing and missing. 2-2.
Slider goes straight down. He's got the fastball high release point, and then he throws. Look at his glove go straight up, and then there's the slider break. Almost had a reverse movement. Kind of backed up on him.
Two on, nobody out. 2-2 pitch. Lays off. Full count.
That's tough right there to lay off. I mean, for a young player to come in and pinch hit, it's tough enough when you're used to playing every day, and then to be in that moment with the runner on second and third and not swing at that pitch. That's frustrating for the pitcher, because you felt like he made the pitch he needed to get to swing and miss.
Tying run aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. Will Smith in the on deck circle. Gallegos home of the 3-2. Outman pulls one off the hands to second, and Tommy Edmonds there. Gallegos saws him off. One gone in the 9th.
Well, when you entered this game, Gallegos knew he was going to face Mookie Betts unless some line drive double play changed that. So he's got 2 hitters to get 2 outs, and he can afford to give up one of those runs. So even a ground ball here to shortstop would only bring it to within 1, and then you're facing Mookie Betts.
Will Smith, MVP candidate. Off of the bench, takes a strike. He's reached in 18 games in a row. He's 3rd in the league in on-base plus slugging.
See, that stat should only count in games you start. Right?
The on-base streak, yeah, I'm with you. Like it could end if he doesn't reach here.
Yeah, that's not. It's got to be games you started.
0-1 pitch coming. Smith takes high and away, and the count evens 1-1. There's a rare combination of big-time power and elite plate discipline. Oh, strikeout totals right there with like Luis Ariz, the reigning batting champion. Peralta's at third, the tying run, the one that matters most. Hayward at second. The 1-1 pitch taken down and away for ball 2.
And Dave Roberts kind of explained it the right way with the influence of Justin Turner. His backspin and the way that he spins the baseball off his bat creates that ball that keeps going where his power comes in, because you'd look at him and go, okay, I don't see 30 home runs out of this guy, but his ability to backspin a baseball when he hits it, he said, is one of the best he's seen.
Ball 3 on Smith with Betts on deck. Cardinals won the first game by hitting 7 home runs, 16-8 on Thursday. Dodgers bounced back with a 5-0 win last night. This has been an excellent game 3. On 3-1, Smith takes strike 2. Just caught that outside corner.
Well, maybe, but he painted it. He threw it on the upper corner that just maybe. But a good 3-1 pitch nonetheless that Smith wanted nothing to do with.
The payoff. Fly ball, center field, not deep. Lars Nootbaar is there. For out number 2, Peralta comes home, and it's a 6-5 game. Two gone in the 9th inning, and it's up to Mookie Betts. He's been one of the best clutch hitters in baseball this year. Last night, a 3-run home run. Took it from 1-0 to 4-0 in the 9th inning with that swing. 1 for 4 tonight. Tying running scoring position. Dodgers down to their last out.
I can make the argument as 2-out home run in San Diego not only propelled that game, but propelled the Dodgers in the streak that they're in right now.
Off Josh Hader a couple weeks ago. Betts flies the first one foul. Three straight hits to open this inning. 2 in the bank for the Dodgers. Hayward at second, the tying run. Gallegos home with an 0-1. Betts pops it foul. Strike 2.
The loudest this stadium has been all night. Dodgers swept the Cardinals in LA, and you could sense this is a different Cardinal team when the Dodgers came in this nice little road trip they got. After here they go to Atlanta
and then Tampa Bay. Oh, 2 pitch in the dirt. Giovanni Gallegos on for Ryan Helsley, who gave up 3 straight hits to open this 9th inning after handling a scoreless 8th. Gallegos trying to douse the fire. We're going through 3 all-star caliber players in an attempt to do so. The 1-2 pitch, very high, 2-2. Former MVP at the plate, Mookie Betts. Waits on a 2-2 pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Freddie Freeman on deck.
Well, he's got to, sound stupid to say, but he's got to have his best pitch right now because he doesn't want to face Freddie Freeman. And whatever that pitch is, a slider down and away. Mookie has worked the count to 3-2.
Hayward off second. 3-2 comes home. Betts takes strike 3. Gallegos gets the call off the outside corner, and the Cardinals win a thriller 6-5. And that is going to be a hard one for Betts and the Dodgers to stomach, especially when they go back and watch the replay of the final pitch.
Yeah, he got about a baseball or more off the plate. And give Mookie credit, he just went back down to the dugout.
So Nolan Gorman's 8th inning home run proves to be just enough as the Cardinals take game 3 of this 4-game series. Yeah, and move to 20-27 with their 10th win in their last 13 games.
Well, there's the pitch, and you can see it's off the plate, and Mookie, and nothing you could do when the 32 count, you know it's a ball and it's called a strike.
You're talking about him not wanting to face Freddie Freeman. Nobody wants to face Freddie Freeman, but perhaps especially Gallegos. Freeman 3 for 3 with a home run against Gallegos in his career. And we'll have to wait to see what the 4th matchup will look like. It will not come with the game on the line tonight. Final score, Cardinals 6, Dodgers 5. Flaherty for the Cardinals, who will look for a series win. The Dodgers will go for the series split. John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal, Joe Davis saying so long for now. On the other side of the break, Kevin Burkhardt and the guys in studio have post-game coverage.